GB's here of Into the Square Circle podcast. Welcome to another episode, of course, all things pro wrestling. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hit the like, hit the subscribe so you never miss an episode each and every week. And in this very own episode, of course, I'll be talking about the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament, of course. What matches went down this past Monday, the May of the 8th of 2023 edition of Monday Night Raw, of course. Who went on to the semifinals? Who is heading to the finals of Night of Champions on May the 27th, of course, of this year. And also, we'll kind of preview the matches going on this coming Friday. That's part of the tournament. By the way, follow me on my social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. All you have to do is type in Into the Squared Circle podcast. By the way, I am available on all major podcasts. Yeah. It's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, so wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I'm on there. Take a listen, give a subscribe, because extra content is not being featured right here on YouTube. So without further ado, let's talk about the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament that kicked off this past Monday on Raw. All right, let's talk about the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament that kicked off this past May the 8th on Monday Night Raw live on the USA Network. So here's the matches that went down this past Monday on the USA Network. So we had two triple threat matches. One winner out of both triple threat matches will head on over to the semifinals for the main event of Monday Night Raw this past Monday. So one of the triple threats, we had Damian Priest versus Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And then the second triple threat match, we have Cody Rhodes versus Finn Balor versus The Miz. So two triple threat match. One winner will advance to the semifinals in the main event of Monday Night Raw, May 8th. And whoever will win in the semifinals of the main event of Raw will head off to the finals round at the Night of Champions on May 27th of 2023. So let's talk about the first triple threat match. Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. A 13-minute and 25-second match, if you're keeping tabs on the count, of course. It was a pretty decent match. Damian Priest looks like an absolute badass. I talked about it right on the podcast, of course. Big fan of Damian Priest. Shinsuke, I'm a fan of his style, the strong style as well. And Seth freaking Rollins. All three men look great in the ring. They performed well. Okay, G, who advanced? And we'll head off to the semifinals of the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. Well, that person is no other than Seth freaking Rollins. So he advances to the semifinals. Now let's cruise into the second triple threat match here. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes versus Finn Balor versus The Miz. A 9-minute and 30-second match. A shorter time match when it compared to the other triple threat match. So it was a pretty good match. The Miz is The Miz. I don't know what else to say about him. Finn Balor, I'm a fan of his. Cody Rhodes, I'm a big mark for him. I'm a big fan of Cody Rhodes. I won't lie to you. Well, as the match got close to the very end, Cody Rhodes brought out the crap. What is his finishing move? The Cody Rhodes finishing move. Man, I'm my brain, man. I can't remember his finishing move. Well, he brought out the Cody Roadmeister. I'm just making up names here because I'm drawing a blank right now. His Cody Rhodes finishing move. He did it at what? Crossroads. He did like what? 4, 5 crossroads to The Miz. And they're like, okay, here's his chance to continue on the story for Cody Rhodes. Here he is taking the cover on The Miz. 1, 2, and then out of nowhere, some guy in a hoodie with a hood over his head grabbed Cody Rhodes' legs and yanked him out of the ring. That hood came down and it was no other than the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar screwed up Cody Rhodes' moment in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. Cody Rhodes' story to move on to become the World Heavyweight Champion got crushed again. But this time Brock had a little vengeance. Of course, you kind of remember what happened at Backlash, right? Cody beat it. Brock Lesnar in the main event Backlash by a roll-up. Obviously, you saw the gash, the stitches from Brock's forehead when he hit the exposed turnbuckle at Backlash. It was busted everywhere all over his face. Now, Cody Rhodes, now his dream's been crushed again. There's no good son of a gun. Brock Lesnar crushed his dreams by pulling him out of the ring and started destroying him. Just beating the living hell out of him. Next thing you know, Brock grabbed the mic and eventually he put Cody Rhodes through the table. Brock grabbed the mic, says, Cody, you know what you want to talk about? Me. That's what he said. Me, me, me. You know what, Cody? See the scar on my head and what you did to me at Backlash? I want a match. I want to fight again. You, me, May 27th, Night of Champions. So now that Cody's out of the title picture, which was one of my picks on being part, but if you heard my previous episode on my post-Backlash episode, I said Cody or Seth Rollins. Cody's out of the title picture for right now. But Seth Rollins is advancing to the finals. Okay? Cody is now going to have to face Brock for the second time at Night of Champions. Question is, where does the story turns for Cody if he defeats him for the second time? So a lot of questions right here to see which direction. Because right now this direction is making a U-turn. It's straying away from the World Championship picture that Cody wants to finish in his story. And it seemed like this is being at a halt again for the poor Codemeister. We'll have to wait and see what directions this will go. As I mentioned, Seth freaking Rollins is heading to the finals in the tournament. Now let's talk about the SmackDown round for the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. For the first triple threat on SmackDown, this coming Friday, May the 12th, with AJ Styles versus Edge versus Rey Mysterio. And then for the second triple threat, we will have Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus. Now we're going to do a little bit of fantasy and booking here. Who will advance to the semifinals on SmackDown and who will face Seth Rollins in the finals at Night of Champions? If I had to pick out of the first bracket of the triple threat, I'd love to see AJ Styles. He'll be my first pick. My second pick is going to be Edge. My third pick is going to be Rey Mysterio. But again, I'm going to go for my heart. I'm going to pick AJ Styles because I'm a big fan. But maybe Edge will move on. We'll have to wait and see. Now, the second bracket is going to be tricky. I would love to see Bobby Lashley continue on. But could Austin Theory advance? Even though he is the United States champion, of course, will he advance to the World Heavyweight Champion tournament? That'll be an interesting one to watch. Could Sheamus finally get his title run he haven't had in a long time? It's hard to pick. I would love to see Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles. Maybe. Could we get Austin Theory versus AJ Styles? That'd be a hell of a match. Sheamus versus AJ Styles. Bobby Lashley versus Edge. Could go any place. But I pick AJ Styles in the first bracket. For the second bracket, I'm going to shoot for Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles. Who's going to win? I'll love to see AJ Styles advance to the finals. AJ Styles versus Seth freaking Rollins. Again, maybe none of this could be true, and I could be all wrong. Hell, maybe Austin Theory can get to the finals. Who knows? But I'm going to ask you, the viewers on YouTube, and you, the listeners on the podcast, let me know what you think. Who will win this Friday as part of the tournament on SmackDown? And who will win the champion overall at Night of Champions? Which I will have predictions in a couple weeks on Night of Champions and AEW Double or Nothing. By the way, follow my social media platforms at Into the Squared Circle Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. And as I mentioned right here on the podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and so much more, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, give me a like, give me a follow. Until next time, my friends, happy wrestling, horns up, and I'll talk to you guys next time.